Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to week 13 of home learning. Well done to all of you who have managed to work in Google Classroom this week, as well as read, exercise, and help your parents regularly. Remember, it's a really important part of becoming a man and becoming independent to take responsibility for helping those around you, even when you don't feel like it because you're feeling tired or you're engrossed in a game. When you help others, you're showing leadership, you're showing kindness, you're showing empathy, and you're showing maturity. And I hope that for many of you, one of the blessings of spending so much time at home this year has been having the time and the opportunity to get involved in more activities as a family. I want to come back to that idea of blessings in just a minute. If you listened to my address last week, you may remember that I shared the poem The Lion and Albert with you. Now, of course, that was an amusing poem, rather silly, and whilst being great fun, it didn't really have anything important to tell us about life. This morning, I want to share a poem with you again, but this one is much more serious and sensible, and it's one that does help us to think about life and what is good in life. The poem is called Blessing, and it is by a poet called Imtiaz Darka. I want you to listen to the poem really carefully, really concentrate. You won't find it as straightforward as The Lion and Albert, but it is much richer and much deeper. Now, to understand it, I want you to imagine a country that is hot and dry. In fact, imagine a country that is not only hot and dry, but one where many people live in remote villages, in huts that don't have taps and running water, where they have to collect their water every day from a well a long way away from where they live. Then imagine that one day a water pipe which carries water through the village to take it to the towns, to the houses of rich people who can afford to have taps and running water and showers and flush toilets, all those blessings of modern engineering. Imagine that that pipe, a big wide pipe, bursts and all the water meant for the town starts gushing out all over the village square. And suddenly, instead of having to walk miles to the pump, the villagers are able to fetch water from the gushing pipe, and children are able to play in the fountain of water that has been created. Now listen to the poem and concentrate on how Imtiaz describes the dry heat and the shortage of water, and how she then describes the sudden joy of all this water cascading out after so much shortage and dryness. The skin cracks like a pod. There never is enough water. Imagine the drip of it, the small splash, echo in a tin mug, the voice of a kindly God. Sometimes the sudden rush of fortune, the municipal pipe bursts, silver crashes to the ground, and the flow has found a roar of tongues. From the huts, a congregation, every man, woman, child, for streets around, butts in with pots, brass, copper, aluminium, plastic buckets, frantic hands. And naked children screaming in the liquid sun, their highlights polished to perfection, flashing light as the blessing sings over their small bones. Hopefully you got the sense of that. After such a long time of drought and hardship, the burst pipe is a blessing. Of course, the word blessing means gift from God, and that is how the villagers see the water, and see how well they use that gift. They fill their buckets and their pots, and the children play in the water. In other words, they make the most of the gift. They don't ignore it or waste it. In a similar way, we have received the blessing of having more time with our families during lockdown. And it is really important that we make the most of that gift, which we may never get again in the same way. Likewise, we know that we will be coming back to school full time in September. That will be another blessing, a chance to renew our friendships and to help each other learn. So let's start thinking now about when we do come back, making sure that we make the most of the gift of education by committing ourselves to working together positively, sensibly and diligently, respecting our teachers and each other to make sure that we maximise our learning. The best way you can prepare for that now, the best way you can be ready, is by carrying on with your remote learning, sticking to your routines, and especially reading regularly. I hope you all have a great week. Only 2 weeks left now until the summer holiday, and thank you for listening.